So hello, welcome to Jazz Chats with David Friesen. Today we have a very special guest. His name is Lawrence Koo, and he is one of the finest and most well-respected musicians in China today. He's originally from Los Angeles, California, and Lawrence has made China his home for maybe more than 20 years now. First in Beijing and now in Shanghai. If any of this is wrong, he will correct me when we start talking. Stylistically diverse guitarist and composer. I know because we've toured a couple of times together. Lawrence is involved in many different musical projects and has appeared as a leader and sideman on club, festival, and arena stages all around China and the world. His own projects include the Red Groove Project, which has received multiple Golden Melody Award nominations, Best Producer, Best Album, and Best Composition in 2014 for Flow, and Best Producer in 2016 for Proper Up. And the Lawrence Koo Trio, which received Best Instrumental Album of 2015 for Pictures at the China Music Media Awards. I'm out of breath now.
That sounds interesting, just like my bio.
Please welcome. It is. I copied it. Would you please welcome a wonderful musician in person, Lawrence Koo. How you doing, Lawrence?
Hi, David. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of
Honor.
course. It's been a long time since we've seen each other.
I know.
I think since April 19th, 2014.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jeez.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Really does. It's crazy.
Listen, I asked this question to all the people, musicians, journalists, whoever I've interviewed. How are you doing with this pandemic? Have you been working? Has it cut into your work schedule? What's going on?
Well, yeah, it for sure. I would say like around the end of 2019, the jazz scene in China, Shanghai and Beijing especially was pretty amazing actually, because there are so many high level world-class musicians coming through. The Blue Note Shanghai just opened up. Jazz at Lincoln Center had been open for a bit. They have Blue Note in Beijing as well. Jay-Z Club, the kind of jazz club here, institution here, has been open and getting foreign accents. So it was like an amazing scene for a while. All these people were coming in from New York and all around the world, Europe. So it was great and really, really vibrant, really inspiring scene. And then the pandemic hit, all that things for like a whole year here. There was like nothing. For the gigging musicians, we were working of 2019 with pop artists and also my own stuff and just jazz club gigs, and that went to zero. In January, I think my last gig during the pandemic was like early January, and then I didn't gig again until like March, February this year. So yeah, it was just a year of doing nothing. Yes, it just so yeah, the scene here was decimated, but it's picking up. Unfortunately, obviously the foreign acts can't come in and play, so that kind of sucks. It's also a chance for like a lot of the local musicians to have a stage to do their stuff. So it's kind of pretty much back, except for that, no foreign artists are allowed in. Apart from that, the gig scene has gone back kind of to normal. So all the jazz clubs are open and running. And
oh yeah, Europe is totally closed down. Germany,
yeah.
Austria, the Ukraine, where I go every year, and it's closed down right now. Just everything's so very ambiguous, it's pretty difficult to make plans at this end.
Yeah.
Sounds like at least you have places that are open and you can go work.
Yeah, I mean, at least the clubs are open now. There are no big shows, so like the pop touring has kind of been is still not. I almost had a pop gig in June. They to try to start it. We got all the way into the arena, and we were supposed to be rehearsing. The next day was the show. They came the day before, during halfway through rehearsal, say, "Sorry, gig is off." This was in Chongqing. We went to Chongqing, right, together, I think.
Yeah.
Or no, we went to Chengdu. We went to Chengdu.
Yeah,
But this was Chongqing. And yeah, so once the local authorities say you can't do it, that there's nothing you can do about that. So it was canceled, and it was a sports arena for 20,000 people or so, and canceled, in a second. We just all packed up and left, and that was it.
For the people that might not know you, especially in the States and Europe, this man is like the guitarist in China. He is
the only one. The only one.
He's the only one that plays like you do. Amazing player. If you haven't heard him, you can catch him on YouTube. I heard a couple of things that you had done on YouTube. Lawrence, how young were you when you started playing guitar? How did you get into the guitar?
Probably like most kids in the state. I was growing up in LA. I started listening to like Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, the classic rock stuff. So that was probably the stuff that really got me into playing guitar.
How old were you?
I was around 12, 13.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I would say like at the end of high school, college, I started getting into the jazz stuff. Started listening to Miles Davis and Wes Montgomery.
Okay.
And a lot of like the John McLaughlin stuff with the Paco de Lucia and Al Di Meola. Those really blew me away.
Did you ever come in touch with a good friend of mine, Larry Coons, in LA?
I did, yeah. Before I started grad school, because he was teaching at Cal Arts, and Cal Arts was one of the places that I was thinking about going to. But I ended up going to New England Conservatory. But Cal Arts was on top of the list, and I actually got in touch with them, and I tried to get a lesson with them, but I think it was too busy at the time.
I have a trio with Joe Manis on tenor and soprano and Charlie Doggett on drums. That's just a tenor, drums, and bass. And Joe's a graduate of the New England Conservatory.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys ever met. Joe Manis. Does that name something?
Don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. Why China? What made you move to China, of all places?
Originally, originally, because I'm Chinese and my parents were born, on the mainland, and I basically came right after college. So this was 97 originally, just to do like a short language program in Beijing, and I just ended up not leaving. And at that time, the scene in China, the jazz scene in China, was super small, but it was super concentrated at this one club called the CD Cafe in Beijing. So every weekend I would go there, and it was super. I mean, we played terribly at the time, but it was a really fun scene, and it was a chance to play. I mean, I couldn't play for anything at the time, but I was able to get on a stage and play in front of people. So that was a great experience and a great way to kind of get my chops up. Performing
Probably
chops.
The reception was good, and you just had the flavor for staying there then, just living.
Yeah, it was a really cool vibe, and Beijing at the time was super gritty. It was cool, and I loved being there. As my early 20s, it was great.
Let me just ask this because I probably will forget, and while I have you kind of cornered here on Zoom, how are your daughters doing?
They're good, and if you can believe it, they're already in college. So they're they're actually back going to college in the States, but they're actually in Taiwan right now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, hunkering down during the pandemic.
They're twins, or they're not twins?
Yeah,
they're twins. Yeah, that's what I thought. My
Thanks for asking.
I mean, they're just little ones.
I know.
Oh, they grow fast, don't they, Lawrence?
It blows my mind. I can't.
And your mother, is she okay?
Yeah, they're together in Taiwan. So they were all in LA because they were going to school in LA, and then the pandemic happened, and everything started kind of closing in on them, people getting sick. So they ended up going to Taipei. So they're in Taipei right now.
Yeah. Oh, great family. Please give them my best when you
Thanks.
talk to them, if you would. Is there enough diversity in China without the American influence or other countries? Is there enough there for you with the Chinese musicians to make things interesting?
There are some really good, there's some, I would say it's been a lot harder since the pandemic. I mean, a lot of the foreign musicians that lived here still live here. A lot of them left during the pandemic and can't come back. So that's unfortunate. But a lot of them, like myself, we stayed here. And then also, like in the last few years, since you were last here, a lot of local musicians, they go to the States or they go to Europe and they study and they come back. And they come back sounding great, because they get all the experience that they need to performance and kind of conceptually.
Right.
So yeah, there's some really good Chinese jazz musicians now. Some really fantastic musicians. Of course, it's not the same,
How about our great tenor player that played with
Alec?
you?
Alec,
Yeah.
Oh man, Alec is still here. He's doing great. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. So Alex, yeah, Alex always, getting that attention. So he's fun.
He's a wonderful player, man. Both of you guys. Please give him my very best. What new projects do you have coming up for yourself?
Well, I'm basically mostly focusing on this educational project. I'm doing an online guitar thing. So that's kind of what I spent the pandemic doing, like writing all this material for this guitar program. So that's been online for 6 months, half a year now, I'd say. So it's basically an online guitar program, like a long term. So that's been cool. And I also just released a new trio album. So planning to do a tour for that.
Well, who's in the trio?
Nicholas McBride. I don't know if you met him, an Australian drummer.
Okay.
And also Fred Grenade. He's a great bass player from Mauritian bass player.
Wow.
That's been a great thing in Shanghai, is having this like Mauritian contingent here. These musicians they're great. I mean, they're such awesome musicians, and they're very versatile as well. So that's really good. And
you have places in China where you can, like Chengdu and Beijing and Suzhou and places like that.
Yeah. I mean, definitely there are these places. There are live houses here, and now there are more and more jazz clubs. Like say small jazz clubs, like 100 seats, about that. So popping up, all around the country. So it's been good. So it's definitely like, since you were here, I would say there are a lot more jazz clubs, to do like a nice little, tour.
So the Blue Note is there now. That's there in Japan.
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah, Shanghai and Beijing. It was really unfortunate because the Shanghai one just opened up, and then the pandemic hit, and then so they got to be hemorrhaging money. It's difficult.
What kind of instrument are you playing these days?
Well, I just got this, which is really nice. This is
beautiful.
Yeah, it's a Sadowski SS15. I've also been playing the Fender Strat a lot for my trio. The new record is a Strat, so it's more of like a kind of power trio-y type thing.
What makes you so great, I think, of a musician is that I've heard you play so many different styles. You can play the pop music, you can play rock music, probably can play metal music. You said that you were influenced by the guitarist. You said having a senior moment. The rock guitarist from Seattle, Washington, who made his
Hendrix. Yeah,
Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, you said that you were influenced by him, so you probably do play pretty heavy rock music. And then you play
Yeah,
jazz, and then you're a great jazz player. So you can do it all.
Okay, well, thanks for saying that. I try.
I think it's true. Listen, it's great seeing you. You look really well, and I wish your new trio success as you do a tour with them. I ask all the persons that I interview to say something at the very end of the interview, something that would offer hope and encourage people today in a broken world. We're really seeing something that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And what words of hope and encouragement could you share with the audience?
God, I would just say, like, just less hate, please. I mean, there's just so much like toxicity around here, everywhere. I mean, it's not just, obviously not just America, but here, you know, everywhere. It's, man, it feels like we're just kind of barreling towards something that we're just really gonna regret, you know, something kind of catastrophic. So I would say, just please, like, back up, you know, just take a broader look at the world. And, you know, I mean, we're all trying to sort this out together, right?
Let me extend that just real briefly. Why do you think that is? Why is there so much hate going on?
Yeah, it seems like this kind of just petty tit for tat thing, you know, and between governments, between ethnicities, you know, it's just,
Things
and things get blown up so out of proportion, right? I mean, the misinformation all around social media. So I guess I would blame social media a little bit. I mean, it's an amazing tool. It's been an amazing thing for us, but it's also, it's been a really huge vehicle for, like, just lies and hatred. So and
you said it, just stop hating. It's just everyone is carrying baggage. Everyone we meet on the street, you know. And
you don't need to hate somebody you have no, you know, you don't know, right?
Right, exactly. Thank you very much, Lawrence, for taking the time to do this interview with me and supporting my jazz chat with David Friesen.
No, thank you.
On Mondays, I have coffee jazz. So there's like 10 minutes of music where a person can have a cup of tea or coffee and they hear my music. And then on Wednesdays, jazz stories, humorous things that happened to me when I was with Getz or Joe Henderson and Mal Walder and different people I worked with, and unusual situations happened and that only musicians know about. So I share humorous stories. And then Fridays, I have the interviews. And I really appreciate you doing this with me. And I wish you well. And to the fans out there, stay well, stay healthy, and God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and my best to Kim and the family.
Wow, you have a good memory, my friend.
Yeah, of course.
Wow. Wow, that's great. I certainly will. Everyone's fine here. So stay well. Stay well.
Okay, you too.
Nice,
you too.
Been nice hooking up with you again, man.
Yeah, it's great talking again. See you.
Thank you.